Did Chairperson McCann join the call?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
She just did.
Hello, Chairperson McCann. I know that Israel Flores let me know that he was not going to be able to make today's meeting. Just as an FYI.
Okay. So in this case, the meeting's going to be recorded, and do I prepare the notes then? I have no problem doing that, or the vice chair?
Again, we should have someone who, well, actually, this has been recorded for YouTube. So when we get the recording done, we can use Google Documents to transcribe everything via Google Documents auto dictate, or we can use Word to auto dictate, and the document will be transferred into word per word verbatim for the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
The only thing that would need to happen is that each member, before they speak, they would have to say their name so that it's in the record.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Chairperson McCann, I will follow your lead. If you'd like, I can announce thus far who's on the call by looking at the people that have joined this particular call right now, so we can verify when we have quorum. But you let me know when you want to call the meeting, and I can help you with the roll call or attendance if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, for all of those who are joining the call here within the local school council Meet link, I am going to be recording this call starting now, and hopefully this will help any situation that we're struggling with over on YouTube. But I will begin to record the call as of now.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Then if you're able to record, I think we could call the meeting to order. It's 5:05 p.m. So we're calling to order the meeting of the local school council for September 21st, 2021 for Foreman College and Career Academy. So moving forward with the roll call, Mr. Escamilla, you said that you can see all the persons who are listed, correct?
Yes. And if you'd like, you can also ask them to unmute to say present, but I also see people who are listed here.
Okay, well, how about this, Mr. Escamilla? Would you name the people that you can see, and then they can unmute to say present?
Okay. The first person on the list that I see here is our student rep, Anwar Ahmed.
Present.
Balsam Malhas, one of our teachers.
Present.
Our chairperson, Mary McCann.
Present.
One of our parent representatives, Rufino San Gabriel.
Who raised his hand?
Okay, gracias, señor San Gabriel. Ruth Cruz is on the call, our community rep. Ms. Cruz, if you'd like to say present or raise your hand or throw something onto the chat.
Yeah, Ms. Cruz raised her hand.
Okay, perfect. Our staff rep, Sabrina Woods.
Present.
Teacher rep, Tomas Asensio.
Present.
And Anthony Escamilla, principal, present.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 persons present. So then we have quorum.
Okay, great.
Okay, so if we move on to the amending or the approval of the agenda, we have the agenda ahead of us on the screen. If you
Point
would-
of order, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
Can we carve some time in the agenda from here on for the executive board meeting? So that we have a closed session. It should be carved in every agenda from here on, so that in case we need to go to closed session, it's already written in the agenda. This was a suggestion that came to us via Ms. Dresden a few years ago.
Mhm. Yeah,
I think it should be taken into consideration and adopted by the council.
do you, today, do you have a matter of business that would go to executive board meeting, or would that be beginning on the next agenda that you'd like that to be added?
I believe we do have a point, a bullet to discuss.
Okay.
I think then we just simply move to add that to the agenda so that we can have that closed session meeting.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion for that, and if whoever makes the motion, could you identify the location in the meeting that you would like to move into that closed session?
You need a motion to go into the closed session, or?
No, we need a motion to amend the agenda. So it would just be saying, that we'd like to add, that we move to add in the executive board meeting in a closed session. Like you want it after 0.5, 0.6, wherever.
I don't know where they want it, but I motion for the agenda to be amended for for us to go into an executive closed session, maybe after bullet 7.
Okay, do we have a second on that to move
I
into?
second.
Okay, Mr. Asensio, so that was Ms. Woods who made the motion, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and Mr. Asensio seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Asensio.
I, Ruth.
Aye, Mary.
Hi, hi, Anthony Escamilla.
I Woods.
Hi, Rufino.
Okay, so the motion has carried. So we will amend the agenda to include after point 7, a closed session to look at a point to be raised. Any other suggestion or amendment to the agenda? Then do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
I second. Asensio.
Okay, excuse me, who moved to approve?
Oh, that was me, Malhas.
Okay. Okay, so Ms. Malhas moved to approve the agenda with the amendment, and Mr. Asensio seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Asensio.
I Woods.
McCann, aye.
Escamilla, aye.
Malhas, aye.
Okay. Mr. San Gabriel, aye.
I, Cruz.
Ms. Cruz, aye. Okay, so the motion has carried. So we would move into point 4, I believe. I think if you could scroll, there we go. Yeah, we did point. Okay, so we want to approve the meeting minutes from August 31st, 2021. Those are posted, correct?
Correct. Would you like me to display it on the
Yeah, I
screen,
think-
or would people be able to locate them off of our website?
Actually, Mr. Escamilla, point of order, Madam Chairman. It is stated on the website, but there is no link open for any of the 2 sets of minutes. So yeah, when you go to the minutes on the website, it should look like the ones for July 13th and 6th, but the minutes on August 18th and 31st are not underlined, which indicates that there's no link for the document.
Yeah, I agree. It's not linked there at the moment.
Okay, I see Mr. Israel Flores did send them in an email. I'm going to drop the link in the chat so everybody can have the link to the minutes.
Thank you.
Just give me a minute. I just added the link to the minutes on the chat. And are we looking at the minutes for 8:31 or 8:18?
I think we need to approve both because we didn't have access to 818 at the last meeting.
That is correct.
So I will add both of those links from Mr. Flores onto the chat as a link.
Okay, yes.
Be advised that the minutes that are posted at this very moment by Mr. Escamilla through the link are the minutes for the meeting on Tuesday, August 31st, 2021.
So both links should be in the chat for both meetings.
For the purpose of accuracy, on that first line, for motions to approve the agenda, the last name for Mr. Asensio is misspelled. The correct spelling for that last name is A-S-E, N as in Nancy, C as in Charles, I-O.
And what are you looking at? Which?
The 31st, August 31st. I'm still on August 31st.
Yes, it's in the, on page 2, it's the very first line, there's a misspelling.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So that needs to be corrected to the correct spelling.
Of course, there is no need for a motion on that. This is a matter of correction.
Yeah. I think it still needs, it shouldn't have the C, correct? A-S-E-N-C-I-O. There we go.
It's the correct name is A-S-E-N-C-I-O, not C
Yeah,
after the C. Yes.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
there we go.
My father will be so proud. I'm sorry.
As we continue.
Yeah, it's correct. And then he wants the other ones. So look at it first. No, that's the 18th.
We can give perhaps another 1 minute for the review of the minutes. And then I would entertain a motion to approve these minutes.
Do we need 2 motions or 1 motion for both at the same time?
I think separate. I think
Separate.
especially, we move, everybody look at this one.
I agree.
Okay, so McCann, I move to for the approval of these minutes from August 31st, 5 p.m.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Escamilla, aye.
Malhas, aye.
McCann, aye.
Woods, aye.
Asensio, aye.
And I see a vote from Ruth Cruz and Mr. San Gabriel in the chat.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have 7 in favor. So the motion has carried. And now we can move on to the approval of the review of the minutes, please, for August 18th.
I move that the minutes for August the 18th, 2021 be approved as established and written.
I second.
Great, so the basketball season begins then on November 8th?
Correct. Those are the days that the first
Okay.
practice can be held, November
Okay.
8th.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there another request for public participation?
I can double check. I checked right before the meeting to see if anyone had signed up. And I see that no one additional has signed up in the request form. And I did send a general invitation to Emily Melby from the state rep Will Gazzardi's office. She generally brings us information to convey during LSC, but I think she could not make today's meeting.
Okay. So then we would move on from public participation into new business. And the point that we have for new business is the budget. Mr. Escamilla, I'll turn that over to you, please.
Yes, thank you. So all of you received in your email a link to the Local School Council 2021 folder, which gives you access to a couple of folders for the month of August and the month of September. And the one for the month of August I had made available to you all in our last session, and I apologize that during that presentation I did give my principal's report, and then we were heading into that budget report, and for whatever reason I had a mental break there where I didn't go into the folder. And so I want to make sure that we revisit the month of August and that information, because I will need your support in voting through a particular transfer, which I will walk you all through. So again, in that folder for the month of August, what you will see is a CSV report of all of our positions. This is information that I need to provide to the LSC on a routine basis when we have our meetings. And so that position report basically details all of the positions that are here at Foreman with no personal identifying information attached to it, but it is our positions report. There's no decision-making or voting that is attached to that report. That's simply information that I need to provide on a regular basis. The June reconciliation report is a report that, again, sort of summarizes our internal accounts and money that goes out and money that comes back into our internal accounts for the month of, this one was for the month of June. Usually reconciliation reports are done downtown, and they provide me those reports in the middle of the month. So sometimes we have to double up with reports because they give them to us in the middle of the month. So I have to present them to the LSC when I receive them. So sometimes you'll see things where there's 2 conciliation reports, but that's simply because that's how they were processed downtown by CPS. So again, there's no voting or any information that needs to be voted upon in the reconciliation reports. Then you have the July reconciliation report that you have access to, again, for the month of July for all things pertaining to our internal account summary. And so the monies that have gone out and the monies that have come in. So the next document that you see in the month of August is called Budget Transfers MFT Funds. MFT stands for Moving Forward Together. These are federal dollars that, again, we don't have to vote upon, but I am required to share these with you all. These are additional funding that we received, again, called Moving Forward Together funds. These are funds that are provided by the federal government to help us transition back to in-person teaching and learning. And we have to come up with a plan that is then questioned and approved by our network offices. Our school was provided with $113,000 plus dollars, and we came up with this plan that was approved by the network offices. Again, there's no need to vote, but I did want to share that we want to continue to use funds that were provided to our school to one is to support basic supplies and incentives around attendance. And we have some of these monies also going for professional development. We have them going towards positions that we maintained open. As you recall from our last meeting in my last principals report, I had announced that we were able to keep open a community liaison position that was previously impacted by our budget, but because we received these funds and we were able to subsidize a position or subsidize the salary of a position using some of these funds that we received this school year. We also intend to use some of these funds for extended day bucket, so meaning that to pay teachers for professional development or any type of training that needs to take place after school. We also want to continue to invest in website and software licenses, as it is sort of a double-edged sword moving into a one-to-one school now that we're considered a one-to-one school, meaning that every student has a Chromebook device in front of them, that we also maintain software licenses that support teaching and learning. We also are using some of that, again, some of that money to pay for substitutes, because we would pay for substitutes to at times provide coverage for teachers that would attend professional developments or that support certain meetings outside of class time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also trying to spend some of these funds by contracting with partners for continued mentoring and tutoring programs that would help us from a wide range of needs, whether academic or social emotional. These mentors and or tutors would help us in those areas. Again, hopefully during the school day and immediately after school. So the re-engagement funds are similar. That's the next document. We also received some re-engagement funds, and the word re-engagement should stand out because these funds basically are some of the guidance that we were provided is that we want to use these funds to re-engage staff, re-engage our school community, and we initially used some of these funds to provide our staff with a couple of welcoming meals at the start of the school year. Again, this is no need to vote for this.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is our budget report. This is our overall budget. And so here you will see, if you scroll all the way down, or as you scroll down, you'll see the current budget, what's already committed out of that current budget, some future obligations, and some current expenditures. And then
Stephanie, I got lost on that one. Which document is that? The budget?
This one's called Budget Report, which
Okay,
is the
okay, thank you.
second to last.
Yeah,
And then again, this is our overall school budget. And so again, paying attention to the headers, you'll see what our current budget is, what we're committed to, some of our obligations. So expected money to go out, expenditures, and funds available. We are trying to create a different view of this, and our operations manager, Ms. Gonzalez, has put together a different view of this particular report, which I will show you in the next folder, and we'll see what is a better view that you all would prefer. But anyhow, this is again just the overall budget report. And again, that was what it looked like for the month of August when it was pulled. This last book transfer, I would need a motion to approve and move forward with. I had applied. Applied to partner with the University of Chicago to have some of our staff participate in workshops around Freshmen on Track. And this idea of Freshmen on Track is that if we can help students at their freshman year pass more classes, especially core classes, meaning their core subject matter, like English, math, science, and social sciences, that they are more likely to be successful at the end of their 4 years and graduate in a timely fashion within 4 years. And so there's a lot of research, there's constant research that's evolving around Freshmen on Track, and the people that are leading the way that actually created this data and this view on freshman success has been the University of Chicago. And so I had partnered up with them so that I can have some of our staff members participate in professional development around the idea of Freshmen on Track, but also qualify our school for a $7,000 grant. And so anytime I hear grant, I try to make sure that it aligns to the work that we're doing and try to support our teachers that are interested in this area, and also obviously help our school with grant money. And so I applied, we qualified, they invited our teachers attended the training, and then they cut me a check of $7,000. But there was a little more to that. That check is an agreement that we were going to continue to do work around Freshmen on Track, which we did. Actually, Ms. Malhas, who is one of our local school council teacher reps, actually helped lead the conversation with a large group of teachers to help create not only a system for helping better have conversations and talk about interventions for freshmen, but we took it a step farther and created our own grade level team structures so that we can talk about students at every level with our grade level team focus. What does that mean? Let me just, I'll summarize it quickly for you all. That basically means that we are having meetings where all the grade levels, for example, all of the 9th grade teachers are having meetings to talk about plans in their curriculum, plans that support the 9th grade level, ideas, initiatives that support the 9th grade level, and also conversations around how to intervene when students are struggling at the 9th grade level. Because the odds are, if I'm a 9th grade English teacher and Ms. Malhas is a 9th grade math teacher, we have a lot of those students in common. And so we're able to talk about students if and when they struggle so that we can provide the best possible interventions at just a precise time. And so Ms. Malhas and the team created these structures, and I ended up creating stipends for teachers using the grant money that we qualified ourselves for to pay the teachers their stipends for the work and the structures that they created. And so all this, they cut me a check, which has to go into our budget. and then I have to move that money in order to be able to pay teachers, and that's what this book transfer request is all about. And so this is what I need a motion on the floor to get approved, and we just continue to move forward, and then I go on to the next month to share some more information.
We are still on August, isn't it?
Yes, so I just need a motion for the book transfer to pay the teachers from this $7,000 grant.
Okay, can I make the motion?
Yes, go ahead.
I move that the book transfer request from University of Chicago to our budget of $7,000 be approved.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I, Cruz.
Malhas, aye.
Escamilla, aye.
McCann, aye. Is there anyone in the chat? I'm not seeing the
Yeah, I
chat.
see Mr. San Gabriel said aye in the chat.
Thank you.
And I see
Did Ms.
Ms.
Woods say? Did Ms.
Yes,
Woods
Ms. Woods said aye in the chat as well.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I have to see my chat now. Okay, so the motion carried. Thank you all. So the motion is carried and that book transfer $7,000 from the University of Chicago will be completed. Mr. Escamilla, can I just ask one question, please, about the, it's about the fund summary that
Sure.
from August 17th.
Sure.
And so I just like looking at the bottom line.
Yes.
So that means that's like all the funding from the previous academic year. Is that correct?
No. So this would be the budget for this current academic year.
Okay. Okay. So it's the current academic year. That's all yeah.
And I noticed that our operations manager from Foreman had raised her hand. I don't know if we.
Point of order, Madam Chairman. Even though that she has raised her hand, it is up to the council to allow her to speak at this moment in the meeting, unless the rules have changed on that subject.
They have not. They have not changed.
Okay.
So can we then make a motion to allow her to speak at this moment? Or do we wait until public participation?
I think if we could, since we're talking about this subject right now, we could move for continuity's sake.
Okay. I move that Ms. Leticia Gonzalez, business manager of Foreman High School, be allowed to speak through the council session, since she is going to at least clarify some of the questions and some of the inquiries that we might have in terms of what has been presented so far.
I second the motion.
So all in favor, please say aye.
I, Cruz.
I, Asensio.
Aye, Escamilla.
I
Rufino.
I would.
I Malhas.
And I McCann, and the motion has carried.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that anything that's voted on today just needs to be signed by the chairperson. And so the documents that you see in your folder will require a signature. And if that could be emailed to me, that would be great.
Yes, I take note of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we all go to the next folder for the month of September, the first document you will see is one entitled Student Fees. So I thought it would be important for us to review this for several reasons. One is that we haven't had an official view of our student fees by our local school council that was voted upon since 2007. And so I want to make sure that one, I feel there's a lot of time that has lapsed. So for us to at least be in the know and all of us on our local school council be on the same page when it comes to our student fee breakdown. And so currently this last school year, and we're continuing this school year to keep the same fees of $120 per student fee. And here you have access to how that is all broken down. And so one of the things that I wanted to note is I also want to put this out for our families to give them the heads up that next year I'd like for us to see a 25% increase of our student fees for several reasons. One, right now, again, it wouldn't change for this school year. It would increase by 25%, which means it would increase to $150 for student fees by next school year. So I want to give families enough time to notify them that we would like to see an increase. And this again is just a proposed increase. In follow-up meetings, I'd like to work with all of you to give you a sense of expenses that go towards our new landscape of education and teaching and learning, so that if we need to increase this 25%, we can. If we say no, let's decrease it to 20%, we still have time to at least have a conversation around this. But we are probably the lowest. I always ask when I run into other schools and other principals and how they are formulating their student fees. We are probably the lowest that I've ever run into, at least in Network 14. That's in the network that Foreman is a part of, and we would benefit from raising these fees. But at the same time, I want to be sensitive to the current times that we're all living through, and not necessarily come back to in-person teaching and learning and raising fees, because I don't know how many of our families have been negatively impacted by the virus and financially impacted. So I do want to put this on our radar as a local school council, continue to discuss the needs of the school and where these student fees what these student fees impact and where they go, but also preparing our school community for this potential increase. Because if we don't help organize these fees or raise these fees, again, these are also fees that are not going to go back to our school and that would not positively impact our students. Because we always hope that these funds and the way we spend them make a positive impact on students. But I did want to share this document with you all. And then I would request a motion to pass this as our current student fee breakdown. I can always eliminate this last line if you'd like. There will be a proposed student fee increase of 25%. Right now, this is sort of just based on some of the calculations of increasing these several areas, especially under curriculum material and online softwares. And then a lot of our assessments are also moving online, which is having us explore other software to be able to assess students accurately. And so I can hold off on the 25% increase for next school year and leave that blank, but I'd like to put this out to the community with all of the local school council being on the same page.
I think that window should be open. That door should be open. You should not eliminate that line from the document, because it will actually allow parents to prepare for the next school year. We don't know what could happen in the future, and if we are going to go online in terms of materials of instruction, it should be allowed to. We should allow students to pay a little bit more for the services, because I've seen so far from the laptops that we have given the students, I've seen a lot of students, mistreating the equipment, and that is going to cost the school in the short future. But that's my opinion, of course.
Yes, sustaining programs and sustaining technology is like the big step, the big next step, right? Right now we are distributing this technology, and the next step is to really think critically about how we can sustain our programs.
Absolutely.
And when we talk about a 25% increase, so that would mean that we'll be talking about $150. Is that correct for the school year 2022 to 23?
Correct. That would bring the overall student fee up to $150.
Okay.
Which again is right now proposed, and there's still room for continued conversation around this.
Yeah.
And I'd love to share, I can at a future meeting share exactly what other schools are charging around us.
Yeah,
That would
I
be a good
think
idea.
that would be very helpful. Actually, like a comparative chart, I think would be very useful.
So since we're going to continue to talk about the percentage of the increase, I feel like it could be beneficial just to mention that there would be a proposed increase for the next school year. But since that 25% is still going to be in discussion, maybe we could leave that portion out of it. I'm also wondering, I know some schools have like a Chromebook insurance that they pay at the beginning of the school year. So I'm wondering if that would be like part of the overall student fee, or if that would be one of the additional costs. So if it is part of the overall fees, then that could be a part of that 25%. And so, yeah, I feel like taking away that number and just mentioning that there would be a proposed increase in that next school year without specifying how much would be best.
From what I have conversations with the IT director in our school, I know for a fact that the parents at this moment are responsible for repairs on the computers. I have a particular student in my Spanish class whose computer was broken, and he has no computer, but he insists in getting a new one. We have mentioned to this particular student to go get a loan from the library. I spoke to the mother of the student in particular, letting her know that she is still bound, responsible for repairing the computer in order for us to issue a new one. I don't think that at this moment we have insurance on the computers, and I think that with Ms. Marcus is saying, I agree with to a certain extent, but I also agree with the fact that having that line left in the document will make parents aware that there's a possibility, a strong possibility, that there's going to be a higher fee to pay for next year. That way, they can, in time, with good timing, they can prepare their budgets for the next school year.
Okay, if someone would like to motion, Ms. Malhas, if you'd like to motion exactly like how you put it, we can put it up to a vote, and I can move forward with the communication.
So I would move to motion that last line remains the same with the removal of the 25%, so that it would say there will be a proposed student fee increase for school year 2022 to 2023.
I second the motion, McCann. All in favor? Say aye, please.
I, Cruz.
McCann, aye.
Woods, I.
Malhas, aye.
San
Escamilla, aye.
Gabriel, aye.
Mr. San Gabriel said aye.
Asensio, aye.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The motion has carried with 7 votes.
Okay, in the next document, I will also need a motion. These are budget transfers that overall come from our contingency funds. And these primarily show, these primarily show that I needed to move or transfer money to properly allocate it so that we can provide our respective departments at Foreman with a budget to begin with for departmental supplies. And so the departments were provided with $2,000 each department to again help the department with any type of departmental supplies that they need or that can immediately impact curriculum or general supplies. So you'll see those $2,000 for each department allocated here. There are a couple of areas that not pertaining to the general budget or contingency that do come from the moving forward together funds that again do not require a vote, but they are here. And the first one is again one of those things that we paid for balloons and decorations for the start of the school year, and that is what you see there, $1,089. And that is not something that is necessarily needed to be voted upon, but it's part of here because I just wanted to show in order the transfers that took place that occurred during this month. The $2,000 all down the line for the departments will require our vote. Then we have $25,000 that was used, again, part of the moving forward together funds for overtime to increase buckets for additional time for our security and also our ESP buckets. And so that was moved to fund those buckets for our miscellaneous employees and our ESP overtime buckets. Then the $9,000 that you see there is also to increase extended day buckets for our TECO and our miscellaneous bucket, and those are supports out of our attendance office, people that we pay out of our attendance office that are under miscellaneous positions. That one we would have to vote on and motion, or motion and vote on. And then the last one here that you see is also one that we would have to motion and vote on. This is $6,000 that would go towards increasing our extended day pay for our main office employees. So these are our clerks in the main office that would often have to stay to work special programs, and we would have to make sure that those buckets are funded so that we are able to cover their pay.
So the motion would be separate for each one of those numbers?
No, we can motion to just simply move to pass these transfers in general, but I wanted to make sure I explained them to you all so that you're clear. We can separate them. The only thing about separating them, the ones that are connected to like moving forward together funds that do not require a vote versus transfers that come from our regular budget, we can separate those. But the only thing is that sort of the timeline is not there. The sort of the timeline of how we're spending this money, which frankly I feel like I don't like losing that timeline, so that you all can see the timeline of when these monies are spent. But we can separate them and say these you don't have to vote on, but they're just for your information, and then create a separate one to vote on.
I'm interested to see that there's a list of departments here, and unless I'm mistaken, we have missed one department that has not been mentioned here. The World Language Department has no money allocated to them. We have the Math, Social Science, we have Music, Art Department, PE, Language Arts, Science, JROTC, Special Education, Counseling, ELL, but no World Language. Is there a particular reason why?
No, that is just an error. So that transfer would need to happen.
So that would be an additional transfer of 2,000?
Yes, so I'll need to look into if it was just an error that did actually take place, but we just didn't include it on this budget transfer form, or if we mistakenly did not transfer those $2,000, which would then you would see in our next meeting being represented in another budget transfer. So I'll find out. I don't know if Ms. Gonzalez recalls or if she's in front of her computer and can explain for sure. Chairperson McCann, would we need to do another vote then to allow Ms. Gonzalez to provide clarity around this?
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and do that? And then can we, but maybe if we have other questions so that we can just have her answer all the questions at one time before.
Well, I didn't know if we needed to vote for her to speak again. It's still under the same topic of budget. So but I just wanted to give the floor to you. And
So I actually move that Ms. Gonzalez be given the floor to answer any questions that occur related to this document. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Asensio, second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
McCann, aye.
Ms. Cruz said aye. Ms. Wood said aye. Escamilla, aye.
Malhas, aye.
Asensio, aye.
San Gabriel, aye.
Okay, the motion has carried. Thank you. And so is there any other question? That we have one question for Ms. Gonzalez regarding the lack of one of the departments that's missing, and then we'll open the floor if there's other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Escamilla, to answer your question, I can definitely take a look at that tomorrow morning. I don't have a computer in front of me, but the budget obviously will definitely be a transfer, and it would show as a report on the next LSC meeting for voting. It usually happens right away as soon as I put it in. Network will approve, and Mr. Escamilla will do the final approval for the budget transfer.
So whether it was a simple mistake of leaving it off of this particular spreadsheet, or whether it was a mistake and we didn't actually conduct the transfer for the World Language Department, we will provide that clarity, and you will see the transfer for the next meeting.
Okay. I had a question regarding the 25,000. It's mostly just clarification.
Sure.
I forgot what ESP stands for. And then also, what would be you mentioned something about security. What would be the security needs? Because that is the highest line item there.
Yeah, so it is broken down to 10,000, roughly 10,000 for miscellaneous employees, and these are employees that are centrally funded by the board that they've given us these positions called seasonal or miscellaneous positions that are meant to help us right now in our transition back to in-person teaching and learning, where we the district was sort of predicting additional manpower for supervisory roles, where we don't want to necessarily pull a teacher to do any type of supervisory role where we need to prioritize them for instruction. And so they gave us these seasonal employees that would help us cover any type of supervisory role.
So like for testing, when we do the SAT and so on and so forth, they will be
yes,
supervising that?
it could be for testing. It can be even to go back to our previous school year when a teacher would be teaching remotely and there's a supervisor in the room, but the students are engaging with their teacher in the computer.
Okay.
And so that may happen. Or right now, I know that we have one of our miscellaneous employees greeting students in the front and scanning IDs and things of that nature. And so there's 10,000 that's going to those miscellaneous positions, and 15 that would go for extended day or overtime for security. And so this is security that quite often is asked to then work overtime for any after school event, sports practice, athletic games, where we need additional security to cover that. And if we intend to really ramp up any after school mentoring or after school tutoring, we're going to need security to work additional hours to cover those additional programs.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else have another question about this chart of expenditures? So at this point, this did need a vote, Mr. Escamilla?
Correct.
So in wording I would like some assistance from someone in wording how we want to pass that, since we know that there is probably one $2,000 entry that needs to be added in, at least to the document.
Can I try?
Yes, please.
Okay, I move that the transfer, wait a second, that the transfer of budgets for the departments allocated for the funds allocated for each department be approved with the provision that there has to be an allocation for the world language department of $2,000 as well. That's it, I think.
Yeah. Second on that?
I second the motion.
Who is that seconded?
Miss Mal has, I think.
Okay.
Both Ms. Cruz and I spoke at the same time. So
Okay.
it happens every time I try to second. Not fast enough.
Okay, so all in favor, please say aye.
I, Cruz.
Asensio, aye.
Mal has
Okay.
Escamilla, aye.
McCann, aye.
San Gabriel, aye.
Okay, the motion has carried. Thank you.
So the next document is doesn't need any vote. These are just some of the purchase orders that have gone in and out of our school to pay and cover certain costs. The largest costs here that you'll see are connected to renewing our website license for the year, which is $4,335. And our costs for supplies, our curriculum supplies for our Wilson literacy program. So we have 3 sections of Wilson reading, and that $3,484 goes to pay for the curriculum and materials that come along with that curriculum. So these are just, again, some of our purchase orders that have gone out.
Okay. Does anyone have a question for Mr. Escamilla?
We do need to make a motion for that one too, isn't it?
No motion for this one.
Also, this is just informational, so we can see
Yes.
exactly where. Okay, good.
The next document is the positions report. Again, these are all, I'm required to provide you these reports. These are our current positions here at Foreman. Again, no private information shared. These are just a list of the positions that we have here at Foreman. The next document was to highlight the fundraisers discussed by our athletic director, Connell Haynes, that he spoke about. The next one is our budget report. Now, again, remember I said that in the last month, we were giving one particular view. And in this month, I wanted to get your thoughts because we can go back to the other report, or if you like a report like this that's broken down by program. So for example, if you look at social studies or the very first page, well, you'll see social studies, music, and art. You will see how each area is provided their $2,000 that are funds available to them. And the other breakdown of monies listed there are things that pay towards their general salary, pension, benefits, all of that, insurance, which is all taken into account in our budget. So I can make it look like this view where everything is broken down by program, or it can, if you'd like, I can just provide you the information as what the other report looked like, which is basically everything listed in the order that the system provides us. So either way, this is just a different view of the same information, trying to lump it by program. And this, again, is just simple information that I need to provide to you all, nothing that needs to be voted on here.
I think this second view, broken down by program and department, is more beneficial and it's easier to read and
Makes it easier.
yeah.
Okay.
Could it be also color coded like you did with the fee?
Sure. So the next document is a book transfer that I would need a motion and a vote for. And so this book transfer were monies that were provided to the school. These were, again, re-engagement monies that were provided centrally from the district, was not connected to our budget, but they did provide us with money so that we can hire people to make phone calls and engage families over the summer. And so we had a few miscellaneous employees that helped us make phone calls throughout the summer up to the start of the school year and even after the start of the school year. And so these monies were sent our way, and then we had to transfer them in order to put them in this bucket to pay the people that helped us make the phone calls. So this is the money that they provided us, $1,200, and we needed to be able to transfer it so that we can pay people for their work. And so I would need a motion to pass this book transfer.
Okay, I move that that the local school council pass or approve the book transfer request of $1,200 for phone banking.
I second.
All in favor?
Escamilla, aye.
Malhas, aye.
Asensio, aye.
McCann, aye.
Cruz, I.
Okay, we have 2 in the chat. Is that correct?
San
Yes,
Gabriel and Ms. Woods.
Okay, so the motion has passed. Thank you. Is there another?
Yes, and I'm sorry, I was talking on mute. The last document is our internal account reconciliation report for the month of August. Again, these are the funds that are in our internal accounts, monies that went out and monies that came in from our internal accounts. And the documents are attached there. Again, there's no need to vote anything on in this section. It's just the reporting of our internal accounts and our reconciliation report.
Any questions on that for Mr. Escamilla? Okay, so if there's no further questions, Mr. Escamilla, do you have anything else on the point of budgets?
I have nothing else on the point of budgets, but I do have some information for my principal report, so I can immediately go to the principal report if you'd like.
Yes, please do.
I'm gonna stop sharing so I can share my other tab. Sorry, my computer is acting up. I'm trying to locate my tab here so I can share it. Okay, so just my quick some updates. It is the start of the school year. The last time we chatted, we were expecting 607 students, and on the first day of school, 480 had showed up. And at this time, we are at 555 students enrolled at Foreman. Our current attendance rate is at 85%. And I just wanted to briefly give the floor during my principal's report to Mr. Stachowiak if he was able to join us to just briefly chat a little bit about some of the attendance campaigns that are coming out of the attendance office.
Yeah, hello everybody. So I'm here. I'm Mr. Stachowiak, assistant principal. Good to see you all. And so I just want to mention we're at 85% attendance. Some good news there is that out of the 555 students at Foreman, 274 of them have 100% attendance. So that's exactly 50% of our students with perfect attendance. And then we have 329 total students with greater than 90% attendance, which is what we want, greater than 90% or better. So that's roughly 60% of our students have 90% attendance or better. What our attendance team has been doing is they use what I call a consecutive absence spreadsheet, and they're continuing to make phone calls to students who are in that 80% and below range. And so we have a number of people in our attendance office currently. We have our 2 attendance employees, but also Ms. Gonzalez has been helping. One of our miscellaneous employees, Ms. Roman, has been assisting. And then occasionally we have even extra help. And so what they want to focus on is they're sending positive messages out to the school regarding these number of students that have this really high attendance, 329 students, for example, greater than 90. What they're looking at is what we call our prospective attendance, which is the possible attendance that a student can have as we progress through the year and by the end of the year. So right now we're still early in the year, and even with students who are at 11% or 20% attendance, every student has the potential still at this point to have up at 95% attendance or better. So if they were to attend every single day from now on. So our attendance office is communicating that. They also have we have a website that we have been using since last year. And Mr. Escamilla, I don't know if you can flip over to just the website since you're sharing. Our attendance team continues to update our attendance page on the website with a weekly attendance by grade level. And then they're going to be promoting that to students, so students can view their grade level attendance and then hopefully improve. So on our website here, if we go to students and then attendance, and then choose attendance campaign. So last year, that graph there is our FCCA weekly attendance by grade level. And so if we look at the bottom, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and then where we were by grade level each of those weeks. Our attendance office continues to offer incentives and promote incentives. If we scroll down here, this was at the end of last year, but they promote things like Foreman apparel, Subway gift cards, and small like certificates. And these are pictures of Miss Nolasco, for example, who was greeting students with Foreman apparel that we had that students had earned for good attendance. So they're going to continue to promote that positive attendance throughout this year. We talked about an idea, and we can potentially implement it where we have like a pizza party, so at least a number of students who are at 90% or above can get a piece of pizza in our cafeteria, coming up soon. And so we continue to promote. I also wanted to mention that attendance is especially for students who are not attending. So what really drags the attendance down are those students who are really low. And so we continue to engage those students, but there's a system within CPS that if students are not responding, that we send them to their we perform home visits through central office. Central office is actually providing those home visits and certified mail to students who haven't been arriving, and we simply can't contact them. But another piece of that is engagement. So that's engagement in our classrooms, instruction, and through our MTSS teams and through our grade level teams, discussing interventions for students, and many of those discussions revolve around attendance. So we have a parent call log. So on Fridays, teachers are calling home for a number of reasons, and partly due to attendance. And then we also have what's called an attendance concern form, in which teachers can who haven't had success in the classroom, while the attendance office is monitoring these percentage rates and making calls, teachers also can make calls, and then they complete an attendance concern form, which is directed to the attendance office, and the attendance office takes action there. One common method of students who are actually attending but have poor attendance overall is to put them on an attendance contract. And so we have students who are on what's called an attendance contract, which they check in with all their teachers. And at the end of the day, they check in with the attendance office to prove that they've been attending all of their classes. So we can put students on 5, 10, or 20-day attendance contracts. And so we're hoping to continue to increase attendance. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, because it really ties in, is keeping kids engaged. And Mr. Garces has done a lot of work on our website and created a system in which students can see the clubs that we have available. And so we are promoting clubs now that we're back in school, and a number of teachers are stepping up as sponsors of clubs. And then we have this on our website for students. They can actually sign up to clubs all on one page using a form, and then we can see who's signing up for clubs, and then we can create these OST entries so that we can use OST funds to pay our sponsors this year and continue to engage our students, which hopefully will increase our attendance.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Stahoviak. Any general questions about attendance?
Mr. Stahoviak, yes, I have one. Mr. Stahoviak, we've been working together, this administration team and us faculty for the past, I would say, good 3 years. I think I might be mistaken with the days, but because of the pandemic. But prior to the pandemic, you, Mrs. Camilla, and the former AP, Dr. Garfield, opened the school year. And can we have a comparison, or do you think better? Do you think that the numbers or the percentages of attendance on those days compared to the percentage of attendance now that we are at 85%, was it better at that time? Is it better now than it was then? Not taking into account the process that we have been having with COVID, but in the regular, when we start the school year officially, prior to March of 2020.
You're on mute, Mr. Stahoviak. You're on mute.
Sorry.
But again, just to clarify, what you're asking is, do we see what kind of a difference do we see with the start of this school year versus the start of the school year before the pandemic hit?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, because the pandemic, we should not consider the pandemic a regular year at all. But I know that you guys put a lot of effort in increasing attendance, and I know that you guys started with a good impulse of energy in those 2 months that took place when you came as interim principal. I was just wondering to know if that 80% is better now, or if it was 89% then. Is there a decrease or an increase in that amount of students?
That's data that I can pull that data and I can report back to the team next time.
Thank you so much. It will be interesting to see that.
Sure.
Thanks for the work you do.
Thank you, sir.
So I wanted to go back to some other general updates, and I'll go to the top. I'll wait for the top one last. But I just wanted to share that I think we've been doing a great job trying to make sure we're communicating with families about attendance. We're doing a great job in trying to get those families that sort of lost touch with schools in general and had were struggling last year, at the end of last year, with attendance overall, to try to re-engage them with schooling. And so I think we're slowly but surely seeing and convincing families to send their students to school and make sure that we re-enroll them. But in having several conversations in classrooms with our students in the hallways, with our student athletes, just overall, there's a different sense of positivity in the air at Foreman, and our students acknowledge this. Our students see this, and this may be just sort of getting back in the swing of things. But I know students are very concerned, and the things that they've shared me, they're like, they don't want to go back to just being at home. What's one of their things? It's like, we don't want to just be stuck at home. We hope that this lasts. And I feel like our entire staff here really is hopeful for that. And I sense positivity from our teachers. I sense positivity from our students. But it's a different feel. I just wanted to make sure that I communicate with you all on the LSC that our students are overly positive. They're trying to do the right thing. I feel like they're even a lot more peaceful this year than ever before, and kinder to one another. And I did want to mention that, but I think, we have 2 teachers here, and we have Miss Sabrina Woods, who's also works at our school as one of our clerks here. And I'd love for them to give any type of input that they have or they can attest to of things that are taking place at the school. Other brief updates. I've recently applied for another grant, a $15,000 grant for our mentoring program. We're trying to launch a voluntary mentoring program here at Foreman, but money never hurts anybody, right? And so I was turned down to this grant for mentoring, and I applied for it, and I think the odds are in our favor to receive it. So I wanted to mention it because I'm very confident that we're going to be receiving this grant to hopefully pay teachers or other people that will help us mentor our Hornets here and keep them on the right track. I've been working with CDOT for these bike racks, and I got the new employee that works at CDOT for bicycle parking, and we're going to have he told me we're going to have 2 new bike racks in front of the school. So I noticed personally that we have a lot of bike riders, a lot of our students that take the divvy bikes or bring their own bikes and tie them up on the fence. Hopefully now they'll have proper bike racks so that they can lock up their bikes properly. And I also, I'm working with with our alderman's office, who is working with the forestry department to help us take down all of the dead trees around Foreman. There are several dead trees around Foreman. I personally I put this on the alderman's radar because either I can take care of it by figuring out a way to use money from our budget to take down trees, but I don't know if any of you have ever paid to take down a tree. It's expensive, and I rather have our money from our budget to continue to make an impact on students rather than spending thousands upon thousands of dollars taking down old trees. So I'm hoping that the city and the alderman help me out with beautifying our school by at least taking down some of these dead trees. But anyhow, I wanted to give some time in my report to Ms. Majas, Ms. Woods, Mr. Asensio to share briefly their what they've seen or felt at the start of the school year.
Is anyone speaking?
Well, I can speak. So in terms of teachers in the grade level team that I am in, which is 11th grade team led by Miss Ingram, we have been having some really positive, solution-oriented conversations about students and the types of support we can provide. So that is very positive and a really great start to the school year. So thinking of students, looking at concerns, and then solution-oriented discussions on how to support them. So it's been great.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Woods, and I'm one of the clerks in the main office. It's just very exciting to see all of the parents and new students coming to enroll. It's great that they're eager to have their students in class and to meet the new freshmen who are kind of nervous. And, we talk to them while they're in the office and give them comfort and let them know that, hey, you've already met 2 staff members, myself and Mrs. Talos, who is working very hard and diligently in the main office alongside me now. So it's just exciting to have our students back into the building, excited to be in the building,
Absolutely.
and the parents excited to have them there as well. So that's one of the big things that is exciting to me.
I think they also the students in general were very hungry and thirsty to be in the building, to be in the classroom and to see their teachers. In my experience, I can tell you that I've never seen my first period be so present in the moment. The attendance in my class has increased. I don't know why, but they're there. They're taking notes. They're having conversations. They're having conversations that had to do with the material that I'm teaching in class. And they're cooperating and collaborating with each other. That's the same thing with the rest of my classes. In particular, my sixth period class because I have a bucket of potpourri in that class. I have all sorts of levels, and I have a group of cluster students who are magnificent. Uh, they are striving to do the best they can with what they have, and that is inspiring. I go on the hallways and I see that security is actually doing a very good job at controlling the students, even though the students are actually controlling themselves. And you know, the only potential problem that we might have, and this is something that will never have a solution, is the third floor. You cannot ask for the third floor to be as peaceful as first or second, because third floor is where the cafeteria is and everybody is coming up and down the hallway. But for the most part, once that bell rings, once that 4 minute bell rings, those doors are closed and you can hardly see students in the hallway. Uh, I think that the effort that has been put from the MTSS team, uh, the small learning communities, or whatever we want to call it, the conversations that occur within the small groups, uh, everything comes together to make us better. I have to say that I'm very happy to be in the building, because if I spend one more day in this house, I will open the window and throw myself out. Because it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for every other colleague that I have, and it's frustrating for the students to not be present at the moment. And I think that this is just, another opportunity for us to 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 reevaluate ourselves, and to be grateful to have a school community where everyone strives to do the best they can with what they have, and there is a lot of collaboration amongst the teachers and a lot of collaboration amongst the students. And that, speaking of someone who's going to live in 4 years, that is the legacy that I want to see happening. That's all I have to say.
Thank you all for sharing your sentiments at the start of the school year. And I want to leave you with this: the entire LSC I'm going to be sending you all an email to see some for you to look at your schedules and calendars and see if and when you are available to participate within school initiatives, whether it's going to be a learning walk that takes place in person, or whether you are free to participate in a virtual meeting with one of our teams, like Culture and Climate or MTSS or grade level team. I'd love for our local council to be in the know of what's happening and be part of our meetings, whether it's just simply asking questions or participating or being a fly on the wall. I want you all to participate in the action here at Foreman. And so you'll be receiving an email from me to help schedule those times that you're engaging with our community. And so thank you. I leave it to our next report from our student rep.
Thank you. So I do want to say that we have been making progress in regards to more after-school activities. These are the following that I am currently aware of. So the Student Voice Committee is up and running. We have met once so far, Thursday, September 9. Additionally, Ms. Fitzgerald has started her own club, Visual Arts, which is going to take place on Wednesdays after school. So that would mean tomorrow. As for the senior board, we did meet last week on Tuesday, where Ms. Guy introduced us to what we will be working on throughout the year. So for example, homecoming is coming up and the senior board will be in charge of it all. The game is on October 7 and homecoming is October 8 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. So we clearly do need more students to help us throughout the year, and considering that these events are like so soon. So the goal is to have a few more students by our next meeting. So in order to reach this goal, I am thinking of creating a flyer for all the clubs coming up as soon as possible so that we can get more students signed up right away. I know this is on such short notice, and I didn't get the chance to talk it out with my classmates, especially because two of these clubs occur bi-weekly rather than weekly. So I feel that it's important to do so now. I am going to share my screen to show what I am working on, the flyer. Can you all see the my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be this template, but you can see here that on the right side I have senior board, student voice committee, visual arts, and a little description on the bottom. And on the left side, we have the days where they take place, who to reach out to. Over here, I can insert the emails of those in charge of each club. And I know I don't have every club on here. I know I am missing LGBTQ Alliance. So it can be added on the second page. I can just add it wherever it is needed, or I can even create two flyers. And because these clubs are happening, so we have visual arts tomorrow and then SVC Thursday. And like I said, we are in need of more students. I do feel that if it's possible, this flyer can be sent out through email by tomorrow at least, just to give students a heads up. Because to be honest, I don't think all students listen to the announcements, and sending it through email would be, we can give it a try. So I can have it finalized by tonight. You guys can put your input on this and just give me the word who to send it to, and yeah, I guess we can just go on from there for tomorrow.
Can I make a
Yeah.
suggestion? Anwar, can I make a suggestion?
Yes, I can hear you.
I like the information. I like the way it looks. It will be. I was wondering if we can persuade the sponsors of the club to create their own flyer for the future. Their own flyer where you can actually put together with this one something on the website. As for the announcements, I know that it's frustrating. Many people in our building do not know how to use the microphone, and they put their mouth close to the microphone, and it's just gibberish what you hear on the PA. You have to have certain distance between the microphone and your voice to speak and be listened clearly. So that's another suggestion. But the flyer looks awesome. I like the colors, and I would like to see if and the suggestion that you have of putting the emails of the sponsors, that is helpful. But if you have individual flyers for each club, that will be much more clear for the students.
Thank you. And yeah, definitely. We did discuss that. I was thinking an individual flyer for each, just so that it can stand out. And in the future, we'll definitely create a flyer, and not only through email, but we can also put it up in the lunchroom, in the hallways, just so it can stand out to students. And like I said, the reason why I want it to happen as soon as possible is because one of the clubs that Miss Fitzgerald is running, it's happening tomorrow, and there are numerous creative students in Foreman.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
they definitely would have a chance to express their.
Another thing that you might want to take advantage is, I don't know if the students' lunchroom has an LCD panel. I haven't been there in ages. The last time I was there was when we got the meeting in the beginning of the school year, but I haven't been there. If we have a television, a TV set, or a panel on the lunchroom, you can have this available in that panel for the lunchroom students. Each lunch period have advertisement published for them on a constant basis. You can also use the LCD panels on each one of the floors to promote your clubs. So there's a lot of ways in which you can do the promotion, not necessarily having a mass email, even though that is welcome. I would support that 100%. But that's also another venue for you to spread the word.
Yeah, any resources that are available, we'll use them for sure.
Absolutely.
If you stop by my office tomorrow, Anwar, with your flyer, I can make sure that it goes out to all of the students via email simultaneously, and we can also put it on our website and just make parents aware of it.
Yeah, I'll definitely stop by.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the student report. It sounds really exciting. From my perspective as a parent, as a member of the community, it really is great to hear so much enthusiasm from all of you about the beginning of the school year. Should we move forward to the report from BAC?
Bilingual Advisory Committee, I don't think that we have.
We don't have anyone.
Well, I think that they have their executive meeting coming up either today or tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Yes.
Okay, so they will have the meeting tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And what about the Parent Advisory Committee?
This is Mr. Stahoviak. I'm representing PAC, and the first meeting is October 5th.
Okay.
So we'll have our meeting in a week and a half on a Tuesday, the 5th. There are two meetings. It's the Title I meeting, and then the principal meeting, and then also the organizational meeting. Santa Montoya, who was our chairperson last year throughout the entire year, that's due to her schedule. That was the first time she could actually meet because she's working in double shifts. So we're going to try to get a number of parents involved, and then that'll be our first meeting. So I'm hoping to try to get some meetings or some at least some members to meet even in person moving forward. But this first meeting will be all virtual on October 5th.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stahoviak. Is there any information on communications or Freedom of Information Act, Mr. Escamilla? Boyes?
No, there's no update under that report. There has been no requests.
Okay. And then the PPLC would be Mr. Asensio and Ms. Malhouse?
Ms. Malhouse?
Sorry, yes, I'm here. So we had nominations for PPLC. We had the minimum number of members nominated, and each member accepted. So we did not need to have an election. We are yet to have our first PPLC meeting, though.
Okay, thank you very much. So I believe we finished our reports and we could move into the closed session. Mr. Escamilla, mechanically or technically, you know how we can do that if it's a closed session?
So I would have to create another invite and leave this one open so that we come back and adjourn the meeting. Give me 1 second so I can create
Can we do a breakout group, or would that not work?
No, it will not work.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to create a new meeting and add you all to it.
We have to make sure that only the members of the LSC are present.
Okay, you all should see an invite for the closed session.
Okay. Yep.
So, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
I think that what should happen is we want to advise the public to stay online for this meeting. We would retire ourselves from the meeting, and then we will join the closed session, open the closed session, close the closed session, and come back to the main meeting.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
yes.
can, if you want, I can try saying that in Spanish. If I mess it up, Mr. Asensio, you can help me. Pero ahorita todos los miembros del concilio escolar de Foreman, les mandé una invitación. So todos los miembros del LSC tienen una invitación para otra junta que va a ser corta, que se llama Closed Session. Por favor, váyanse a esa junta ahorita. Y los demás que están quedándose aquí en esta junta del Local School Council, ahorita vamos a regresar después del Closed Session a terminar esta junta con los que se quedan a ver la junta. Mr. Asensio, did I miss anything?
En otras palabras, lo que el profesor Escamilla está diciendo es que se mantengan en línea en esta reunión mientras los miembros del consejo salen de la reunión, entran a la sesión cerrada a discutir un tema privado, y una vez terminemos con eso, regresamos a esta reunión. Por favor, manténganse en línea por los próximos 7 u 8 minutos.
Okay, thank you. So I would ask all the members to join the meeting that Mr. Escamilla has invited us to at this moment.
The only person I don't see right now is the Cruz.
Cruz and Miss Woods.
Miss Woods is here.
Just Ruth Cruz.
Good morning, Miss Woods.
Okay.
Good morning.
Miss Woods is online. So the 8 of us are here, Miss McCann.
Yes. Right, because it's a closed session. So,
Miss McCann, you're in mute, I think.
okay.
So we're coming back to our original session.
And we're back.
Are we all back? Welcome, everybody. Welcome back.
I think we're just waiting on Miss McCann.
She's in.
Welcome back.
Madam Chairman, you're off.
Okay.
Ahora.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are all back, I believe, and we could move into point 9, public participation, if there is any at this time.
I'm confirming, and nope, there's no additional people that have signed up.
Okay, thank you. So we will move into point 10, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Okay, Mr. Asensio moved to adjourn this meeting. A second?
A second.
Ms. Woods, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I, Cruz.
Aye.
Hi, Escamilla.
Thank you, guys.
Aye, McCann.
I Woods.
Have a wonderful day.
Okay,
Thank you all.
the motion is carried. Good night, everyone.
Thank you,
Good
ma'am.
night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.